Three. Howdy, y'all.
Hey.
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 So the first question is, what are their benefits to using the specifically designed instruction data collection tool to evaluate high quality instruction and services? So if you guys look at my screen, oh yeah, it says disabled screen sharing.
Okay, hold on. All right. Now you should be able to screen share.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the video you're gonna share with us.
Okay, I'm not sharing it like right this second though. But no, I was just pulling up the first
Question.
yeah, so this is the first question, and then this is the thing for it. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to share for now, but you guys can do that while I look up the video real fast.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Millie. So yeah, I was actually looking up this little document, and hold on. I think I love I guess the focus of specially designed instruction, because I really think the whole act of everyone's entitled to a free quality education, I think that's only made possible when we really seek to tackle like special needs and work with students on an individual basis. And so I think that's really what this is going for. And so yeah, I don't know if anybody has anything to add to that. I think it like helps like come alongside IEPs and yeah, just to like monitor student growth.
Yeah.
Sort of go off that a little bit. I think the tool is helpful also like beyond an individual teacher level. Like it can be used to collect data across the school and using like the LEA self-assessments to assist in problem solving, especially around like the core elements of the classroom, like you said, dealing with IEP development, implementation, and guidance, as well as problem solving for improvement, and then also looking at research-based instructions and practices. So I think that it can tackle these core elements within a school setting, but it also can, even though it's not an evaluation tool used for within a direct teacher setting, it can also be used to make assessments as a whole and to create those individualized education plans and lesson treatment plans that effectively individualize learning for students with special needs.
Yeah, I think also not only does it help like to assist like the children in learning and to kind of gauge where they're at, I think it also gives like clear parameters for teachers, so they kind of know like what their part is in like helping the children, as far as like how the teachers can set like clear like instructional goals and how they should structure like different activities and stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually have a video on how what the teacher's role is in an IEP meeting, and it's 6 minutes. So do you guys want me to go ahead and play it?
Yeah, I would love to see that video.
Okay. I'll share it.
What if you could watch your
Let me try to make it full screen.
child
Okay, I can't.
get back to grade level in all subjects? Do you want to obliterate the red tape found in the school system? Are you ready to break the dependency issues created when school is the only option? Wouldn't it be awesome if you could see your child gain the services they need? Hi, my name is Luke Deline, and those are questions I used to ask myself as well. Just imagine if you had the ability to get help for your child that actually works. What would you do? How would that instantly change your life and your child's life for the better? Unfortunately, getting help for your child that actually works isn't as easy as calling up the school and letting them know which areas they need additional assistance in. You've tried that. You could literally spend the next 12 years fighting with the school, only to watch your kids sink further and further behind. Even if you called the school multiple times a day and worked your way up the district ladder, it would still take an act of Congress to get the help your child needs to prosper. While you might try to fight the school for more services or physically go down there to speed up the process, you can quickly get bogged down and still see zero results. To put it in another way, the school has you exactly where they want you, desperate and uninformed. Talk about school system red tape overload. If you've ever felt the frustration with getting help for your child that works, then I can relate to you perfectly. Just like you, I struggled with getting the appropriate help for my child until I realized the secret. I watched in amazement as my wife took her special education knowledge and put it to work. She used her expertise and spent only 1 hour per week working one-on-one with our son using our system. I was able to watch him get back toward grade level in all the areas he had been struggling with. I started telling my friends and our family members about those results. What happened next shocked me. Some people were begging me to show them how they could get the same results without becoming special educators themselves. Others were really skeptical that it was even possible with just 1 hour per week. So I gave them a challenge, the same challenge that I'm going to give you right now. I guarantee that you'll understand more about your child's educational journey in 30 minutes than you've uncovered during all of their years of school. And if you're skeptical, then don't worry. This one-on-one conversation with a special educator won't cost you a thing. Nothing. Nada. Zero. Keep all of your money in your pocket. And then after your conversation with an expert, after you have clarity surrounding how you and your child can actually see results, then pay us. And if we aren't able to offer enough clarity in 30 minutes, don't pay us anything. Does that seem fair? We call this the Luke Deline, get in the know and gain the help your child deserves challenge. And so far, we've never lost. So we opened up the calendar and made more slots available with our experts. Here's what I want to do for you. I'm so sure that this completely will change your life, and you're going to be able to have a conversation with a non-biased special educator for free. Then, at the end, you get to be the judge. Either we lived up to our word or we didn't. If we do deliver what I promised, and we will, and you love the information, mention to the special education expert that you watched this video. Trust me, you'll receive an incredible offer. If I don't deliver or you don't think the information was worth your time, just send me an email and we won't charge you anything. Does that sound fair? It's kind of like going to a restaurant and only paying if you love the food, or going to a movie and if you hate it, then you pay nothing. So now it's your turn to decide. Say yes and let us prove that our system works to help your child succeed, or you pay nothing. You've got nothing to lose by giving this a try. If there's even a chance that this could completely change your life, isn't it worth?
I'm so confused. He's just promoting.
We just watched an ad.
Oh, what was that?
I thought it was gonna get better. And I thought he was gonna Okay, let's try this one. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. Is the volume? Okay, I want to watch. Hold on. Okay, hold on.
Hi, my name is Lori. I'm a parent advocate at Include NYC.
And my name is Rachel, and I'm the Executive Director at Include NYC. Our goal is to help you, New York City parents, prepare to have a successful individualized education program or IEP meeting with your child's team. We will do this by explaining what you can do before, during, and after an IEP meeting.
A school or a parent can request an IEP meeting. There are 3 kinds: the initial for first-time request, the review, which is held annually, and the triennial, which leads to reopening your child's IEP.
It's important to know what type of IEP meeting you'll be preparing for, because different meetings have different goals.
To learn more about the 3 kinds of IEP meetings, go to this link on the website and download the informational tip sheet.
To prepare for the meeting, it'll be helpful to get organized. You'll do this by gathering documents about your child, people who you may want to attend the meeting, your own notes about your child, and what things you'd like to talk about at the meeting.
Think of this preparation as your homework. The more you get organized and the more information you review, the more confident you will be at the meeting.
Let's start with the documents. You should gather IEP meeting notice, evaluations, your child's current IEP, progress reports, and your own notes. These may include notes from teachers, service providers, and even samples of your child's work. To learn more about the types of documents and paperwork that are part of the special education process, go to this link on the website and download the tip sheet. You will want to gather all of your documents in a binder or folder.
Put your child's picture on the cover of the binder. Walking into a meeting with your binder is flat out fierce. It shows the team that you value the meeting and are committed to your child's education and progress.
The first document you should review is the IEP meeting notice. You should expect to receive one at least 5 calendar days before the scheduled date. The IEP notice contains the date and location of the meeting and the name and number of the contact person to call in case you have questions or need to reschedule the meeting. Whenever new evaluations are conducted, parents are entitled to a copy prior to the meeting to provide the chance to read and think about them in advance. If it isn't included with this notice, call the contact person named and ask. Having the evaluation prior to the meeting is your right.
The IEP notice also has the names and titles of everyone who's supposed to attend the meeting. Typically, these people will be your child's teacher, the school principal, other Department of Education personnel, you, and your family members.
Speaking of people, remember that you can invite anyone to the IEP meeting who you feel will help support what you are asking for, even if they're not listed on the IEP meeting notice. This might include an outside therapist or a service provider or anyone who knows your child well, especially if this person can help explain the changes to the services or placement you think your child needs. Get in touch with them and let them know the date and time of the IEP meeting and why you'd like them to attend.
If you are bringing family members to the meeting, make sure you are all on the same page about what your child needs. Talk about what goals you have for the meeting. Develop nonverbal cues, such as touching your right ear to signal the person to stop talking. Okay, you've gathered and reviewed all of your documents. You've put together your team of people. Now it's time for the most important part, writing down your notes for what you'd like to address in the meeting.
Make a list. What's working, what's not, what's appropriate, goals, services, supports, Look at your paperwork and note anything that supports what you are saying.
On the day of the meeting, make sure you have your binder or folder that contains your documents and notes, the people you invited, and a pen and paper to take more notes. And recognize that these meetings can be stressful for us parents and that it's okay to be nervous.
If you need to, you can ask for a break.
As you address the room, act confident. You did your homework and you are ready to advocate effectively for your child. Be sure to express your intentions and desires fully during the meeting. When speaking, remember to focus on what the child needs, not on what is going wrong. For example, you might say, because my son struggles to hear the teacher, it would be helpful if his desk could be moved closer to her desk. Instead of, all his teacher does is mumble. She doesn't even care if my son can hear her or not. If you can, mention at least one area of improvement your child has shown. For example, my son is participating more in his math class since that teacher moved his desk.
Be a partner. While it may feel like a me versus them situation, remember that you're all on the same team. When you use the word we, you're reinforcing the obligation your partners have to do what's best for your child. For example, we all want what's best for Jaden.
Be mindful of your tone and body language when talking. It's not what you say, but how you say it. No matter how hard it is to listen to others, remember that when you do let people talk, it ensures that you will have the chance to talk as well.
Take notes during the meeting to help you recall what was discussed. Stay aware of the time, but know that if you run out of time, you have the right to request another meeting. After the meeting, a copy of the completed IEP is sent to the parent within 2 weeks, followed by a final notice of recommendation letter known as an FNR.
This notice serves as a formal offer of services and requires a response from the parent. Whether or not you agree, it is important to respond in writing.
The FNR tells you who to respond to. Signing and returning indicates acceptance.
If you disagree with the FNR, ignoring it is not an effective strategy. The team will assume you're in agreement or that you're not interested in special education services. Since these recommendations must be put in place within 10 days of the meeting, it's best to respond as quickly as possible.
If you disagree, there are concrete steps you can take. If you'd like to know more about these steps or need one-on-one assistance, call Include NYC for help. We can help you prepare for your IEP meeting at no cost to you.
Visit us online at Include NYC.
Okay, so I think that was the video, but I want to say a takeaway from that for me was, I'm sorry, Nick, let me go. A takeaway for that for me was, I work with, in the preschool, I work with a special needs, girl, and she's 5, and we actually had an IEP meeting with her mom because she didn't want her daughter on to have like that label. So it got to the point where we kind of had to, like, we were cornered because she couldn't be in the regular classroom anymore, but we didn't have the paperwork necessarily needed to take her out of the classroom. So it was just kind of like she was in a regular classroom, but she had a one-on-one that couldn't be officially a one-on-one. And it got to the point where she was getting so aggressive where she would slap teachers in the face and leave handprints and bite until the skin broke. And she's only 5, like she just turned 5. So it got to the point where now she's like, unless she has that label, she's facing expulsion and suspension because she's been suspended so many times. And literally this whole entire week, she's been having to get picked up at least, like she'll be dropped off by like 7, and by like 9 or 1, it's a phone call to pick up because she's either slapping teachers in the face or biting or scratching to the point where there's marks. And her mom like doesn't want her on medications. So I feel like the child is really suffering from that because she's not getting the help she needs because mom's still in denial, because mom says that her child looks fine and like visually you don't see a disability, but it's still there. So I feel like her mom would benefit from like a positive IEP meeting versus, because the mom said she felt really attacked and like nobody was on her side the way that it was being said, but I wasn't in the meeting, so I have no idea how it went. But I feel like she would benefit from having like not like an easier approach, but just a more like understanding approach with like more facts versus the only option is to go on medication and have the label. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really tough. I think also something to keep in mind with like IEPs is like it's a constant like learning process, and like a process that changes. Like it requires to be like reevaluated as like the children change. So just keeping that in mind that it's not like a definite thing for like. I mean, I'm saying this as if like you're the parent, but like IEPs aren't like definite for like the child's life. Like it's just to like help the child as much as possible, and like meet them wherever they're at in that stage of life, which can change.
Exactly. I think IEPs are there to assist versus like go against, but I think most parents like they don't realize like we're trying to help you, we're not against you. So I think that's a struggle that we still face. But
No, I think that's really interesting, Millie. I think the interview was really helpful in terms of like bringing this class to life because I can read about SDI and like all these special approaches and MTSS and the RTI model, but until you actually see it like firsthand or hear about somebody's experiences that have been there, I feel like there's like a gap between like experiential knowledge versus just like book knowledge. And so, yeah, sort of like on the IEP discussion, like one thing, I think this is such a foreign topic because I have no affiliation with like education, but my twin sister works at, she works as an assistant teacher or a TA or whatever at a special needs class, and she says that they literally review the IEPs with the students every single morning and like review goals. And yeah, so I think like what's cool is what we were talking about this week in the reading with specially designed instruction is I think like that is more focused on practically how to achieve the goals and I guess like aid the problems that are mentioned in the IEP. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was really cool, and I think the videos that she posted this week on the Sakai page were like also really cool to see, like firsthand teachers like sort of executing these SDI approaches and whatnot. I don't know if that makes any sense.
yeah, I can make a good point, Olivia. I actually found like I couldn't find videos of like an example of bad IEP meeting. And I found this like website that's like a blog where like a lot of parents like and teachers come together. And it's like the title of this one is most ridiculous things heard at an IEP meeting. So I'm just gonna read like some of the statements that people have said, but it doesn't say who, it just says someone in the meeting has said it. So one of them is, this is a magnet school. We don't do IEPs here, so don't ask us.
Wow.
What?
I said, wow.
Yeah, this one says, maybe your daughter's behavior issues are being caused by you telling her she has autism and she is emulating how she thinks someone with autism should act. I suggest not talking with her so much about her disability. Another one is, your child will be graduating at the end of the month, whether you like it or not, IEP or not. So I'm guessing like a teacher said that. This one says, I won't let you add your comments to the parental concerns section of the IEP form because the IEP is a school document and I disagree with your description of the events that occurred. So I guess on that one, whoever's getting the form is like undermining the parent, I think. This one says, I agree that your daughter needs a full-time aide, but I don't have the authority to authorize that. Your child is too smart to have an IEP. And this last one says, we don't perform functional behavior assessments or write behavior support plans for children exhibiting off-task behavior. FBAs are only for kids that are not nice. So that's just not even true.
There's a lot of like strong opinions in that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, like, when they think IEP, they think the worst, but like an IEP could be something as minor as like ADHD, but to the point where you don't need to be in another classroom because of ADHD, because there's different levels. So I think, because I had a friend in high school and like she had an IEP and it was her disability was ADHD, but she was in a classroom and you could never really tell.
Hmm.
So I think parents are just scared that their kids are gonna have that label. But I think it's on the parents too, because they have to want the help for their kids. Like,
Right.
if they don't want it enough, like their kid can't advocate for themselves. So
Right.
they're just hurting them in the end.
I know I was talking to my sister about this too. Like, she says that some of the challenges that comes, like some of the things that we read about before the Star Hill talk was like just the communication between like parents and staff. And she was talking about how like the kids, so it seems like some parents here like maybe don't want the label or don't want to go through any IEP services and like get the help that their kids may need. And I guess they're kind of like avoiding it or in denial. But then I think on the flip side, like there are some parents, based on what my sister said, that like maybe baby their kids too much to the point that like they don't stretch them or challenge them to like seek growth. And so like she's talked about how there's one student in her class who she has trouble like walking, and they always encourage her to like, I don't know, like walk appropriately and stuff. I don't really know exactly the details, but basically like she's going to be confined to a cane the rest of her life if she doesn't get this early on. And but the thing is she goes home and her parents baby her and let her like, you know, lob around, and like they don't you know, encourage her to encourage her to like grow in that area because they don't push her, they just baby her. So like in a sense they milk the condition. I hate to say that, but it just makes it more difficult. And so yeah, I don't know. I think there's like two spectrums here. It's like some are like overly concerned and to the point where they baby, and then some are just in denial. And I think somewhere in the middle is like where that the communication, like the work that we do as professionals should help like bridge that gap.
I think also going back to the, sorry, Millie, were you about to say something? I was gonna say going back to like the first comment you made about like the magnet school who said like they're like prestigious, so like we don't offer IEPs. I think that almost like has the opposite effect of what they want it to. Because like you said, IEPs can be for you know, disabilities as small as like ADHD. And like all IEPs are there to do are simply serve students so that they're able to learn material no matter what like resources they need in order to do that. So I feel like refusing to offer an IEP, well, one is hurting the student, but also is hurting your like prestige if you're not able to like offer resources to all your students to get to like the point that they need to be to have like good grades or whatever.
Yeah, I think you're right, Lindsay. And Olivia, when you said that there's like 3 different like categories, like to the point, like the ones where they baby, the ones in the middle, and the ones where they just don't care at all. I kind of don't know which one is worse, whether they baby too much, so they're just in denial and they're never getting help, or the ones that are just completely in denial and like don't pay attention to it at all. Because I feel like at least if you're like really overprotective, no, I wouldn't even know, because if you're like if you baby them, then you're kind of in denial too, I think.
Yeah, I think like on one end, it's not necessarily denial. It's just like, yeah, no, it's in denial, but it's just you don't want to acknowledge that there could be something up. And but then also it's like, but I don't think like I don't like honestly, I think it's like we've been focusing on, I was sort of working on my web bibliography and stuff, and I was looking at like the person first language and just like reviewing that, and I think when you focus on someone as a person over their disability, like you acknowledge like their strengths and that you acknowledge their abilities before you do their disabilities. And so, yeah, like you should acknowledge someone's disabilities, but when we become obsessed with them, I think like I don't know. I just don't think that's right. Like, I don't mean that to sound like not love. I don't even know why I just said all that, but
Yeah. I think in terms of like the IEP meetings and stuff, I think there's a lot of like ignorance and a lack of knowledge about what an actual individualized education program meeting is. And I think like parents and like other school personnel automatically assume that this is going to be like something that pulls the student out of the classroom, or it's going to be extra work on them, or it's just something that they don't want to do. But in reality, it's like you're denying the child their right to the free and public education that they deserve when you don't take the time to give them those resources. And as a parent, would you not want to know how to give your child the best education that they need, even if you don't think that they need it? Would you not want to at least hear the resources that are available for them? I don't know.
And then there's the other problem too, where say they have accepted the disability and they have accepted those services in school. Say it's like an aggressive child and their disability is like extreme aggression. I'm not sure what that would be called, but so you say at school you implement some rules and guidelines and they do okay. Of course they're gonna have their days, but they do okay. But then when they go home, those rules and guidelines, they aren't implemented. So everything, all the progress they're making at school goes right out the window at 3 o'clock when they go home. Like I have a student and she was never aggressive and just recently she's aggressive because her parents are going through a divorce and they're separating. So that's obviously the trigger. But the rules we implement at school, she follows them, but then she'll tell us when I go home, I don't have rules. And her reward or an incentive is McDonald's. But she's not going to get McDonald's every single day. And she knows that. So her incentive at home isn't really working. And sometimes she'll just say, like, go ahead and call my mom. She doesn't care. But then if you say, I'm going to call dad, then she'll like freak out crying because she's scared of dad. So the rules are being implemented at dad's house, but at mom's house, they go out the window. So it's like, I feel like that's like another big stressor.
the inconsistency and that translates into I don't know, like even between parents, but also like in school when you're really like cracked down on at school, but then at home you're not. I was gonna read something off of the reading for today that I really liked. I'm trying to find it.
I think that's hard because you like, can't go
Lindsay, your Wi-Fi is some
sorry, my
trash.
Wi-Fi is like
Say it again.
it's fine.
No, say it again, Lindsay. Y'all, me and Lindsay live together.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not just like telling her that because I don't know her. Wait, say it again because we didn't get any of it.
Okay, well I started talking and then like 10 seconds later I heard you, so sorry, but honestly I don't even know what I was gonna say.
Okay, dang.
I was gonna say it's like hard because you can't control the parents, but I think kind of going to like the second discussion questions about like as a teacher, or social worker, or guidance counselor, or whatever. I think your role in that for IEPs is just like really advocating for the children like as much as you can.
No, that's a good point. I think it's all about like being an advocate for the child. So that's really good.
I actually found some like prior to class when I was looking at the questions, I found like phrases to use at an IEP meeting, whether it be a teacher or a parent. So like an example is like say like you're explaining something and the parent doesn't understand, like a good way for the teacher to rephrase it would be like, I may be understanding. Can you show me a detailed interpretation of that law and what you're trying to explain to me? Here's the information I have on my end let me know if you see any of these behaviors at home. And a lot of just stuff saying like, I can show you, and to make sure you're prepared, because especially on both ends, as a parent, you need to be prepared with papers and facts, or like whatever evidence you need to make your case. And as a teacher or aid or guided counselor, you need to have evidence too, versus like if it's like written reports every time they hit, or every time they do something inappropriate. Like I have a child in my center who he's literally like recently touching girls inappropriately, and in his head he doesn't think that's anything wrong, so every time he does it we have to write it up because he'll just go up and grope a girl, and it's only girls. So there's obviously a deeper issue there that we're trying to figure out, but we can't present the case to the parents because like as a parent I'd be like taken away by that and be like, well, what are you talking about? But so you just need like evidence for that. But yeah, we have less than a minute.
Yeah. No, that was good. Thank you for sharing. All right, I'm gonna